Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Today we're going to just be going in and reading some articles that, well, these people deserve life, the electric chair, whatever you want to do. But they deserve more than what they got. So let's get into it. Just add in a little trigger warning on this. They're not the nicest of stories, but if you're easily triggered, maybe don't watch this one. Okay, let's get into it. Pensioner 78 battered by two teenagers after waving them down with their car lights off. ScuzBag's. That's heartbreaking. I can't. A pensioner who was left completely unrecognizable after two teenagers battered him when he waved to indicate that their car headlights were off. Christopher Graney and Samantha Fetton were both left their 78-year-old victim with severe bruising to his face after beating him at a bus stop. The pair leapt out of the car, pushed the unarmed man over, kicked and punched him as he lay defenseless on the ground. What a pair of... Okay. They then jumped back in the vehicle and fled the scene, but were arrested a short while later at Fenton's home in Bromley, Kent. Fenton and Granley of Beckham were both convicted of a shocking, cowardly assault, actual bodily harm at Croydon Crown Court. The 78-year-old victim burst into tears. Oh my God. When he was told the guilty verdict by police on October 15th last year, the police were called to Widmore Road, Bromley, Kent at 12:05 a.m. When they arrived, they found the elderly man with severe bruising to his face. Good God. The victim had been waiting for a bus when he saw a car travelling down the Widmore Road to speed without any lights on. He waved to attract the attention, but the car suddenly braked sharply. Granley and Fenton denied the offence throughout the trial, but they were convicted by 11-1 majority jury last Tuesday. What absolute scuzbags, man. Investigating officer Detective Constable Rosemary Lee from Bromley CID. This was a shocking, unprovoked and cowardly attack on an elderly gentleman. You think? Jesus Christ. The victim was left with appalling injuries and is so very upset. And indeed, he burst into tears when I told him that they had been found guilty. You absolute scuzzbag. I hope you get what your just desserts in jail. And you piece of shit. Well, enjoy your time. The pair was sentenced on April 9th at Croydon Crown Court. Granley will be sentenced for both another assault he committed in the early hours of the 27th of August when the 28-year-old man was attacked on the forecourt of a Total petrol station in Croydon near Beckham and was left requiring hospital treatment for his head wound. Good God. Granley was remanded in custody pending sentences while Felton was released. Now, why was she released and he held in custody? I feel like that's like, oh, but because she's a girl. Like, no, she should be remanded as well. A boyfriend-girlfriend who attacked a 78-year-old man who warned them that they're driving with no headlights have been sentenced to 30 months. 2.5 years. Did you see the picture? 2.5 years. They had not shown the slightest remorse. Well, why was he only given 2.5 years then? Ugh. 2.5 years is not enough, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is 2.5 years enough for what they did to that old man? Grandmother 87 chases thief from her home with her late husband's military sword after she was struck over the head and beaten in a violent robbery. As attacker is jailed for 13 years. Now, 13 years is more like it. Ta-ta. An 87-year-old grandma chased a thief from her house using her late husband's military sword after she was struck over the head and beaten in a violent robbery. Oh my God, I'm going to butcher this name. Anastasia, I'm not even going to attempt that name, woke up to the sound of smashing glass at around 3 a.m. and saw Ashley Riley, 28, standing in her bedroom in her Action West London home. Father of two, Riley used a cobblestone to smash the window and hit Mrs. over the head, punched her several times and pulled her nightgown over her face. Oh my God. But tough and fit, Mrs. fought back by hitting him with the lamp. You go, girl. Drug addict Riley smothered Mrs. facing with the pillow and suffocated her after she cried for help during the 13-minute attack in January 2020, which left her fearing for her life. God, he made off with 50,000 worth of, oh my God, irreplaceable jewelry, cash, heirlooms in the attack, including priceless earrings given to Anastasia by her father on her wedding day. Oh my God. Some people are just scuzzballs, man. As he headed out to the door, Miss Anastasia, who had suffered a fractured spine, chased him with her husband's military sword before the thief jumped into a taxi. Riley, who claimed he was high at the time and doesn't remember the attack, was jailed for 13 years on Monday after pleading guilty to the robbery and possession of a weapon. He will be behind bars for 8 years and 7 months at least, and then will be on license for further 4 years. Now, a license in the UK, I'm not sure if it's the same anywhere else, but he had 13 years, so basically he'll be on license in that time after he released from jail. If he gets in any trouble whilst he's on license, he has to then go back. It's called recall. Former cleaner of Waltham Forest Council, Riley had a string of convictions for robbery. In the past, he chose Mrs. Anastasia's home as he thought it was likely to be occupied by an elderly person. Judge Sarah Paneth told Isworth Crown Court, "There is no doubt that Miss Anastasia was not going to give in easily. Far from the coward in her room, Miss Anastasia will be immense courage, followed you down the stairs, having armed herself with her husband's military sword." Like, just imagine what she must have been feeling, like absolutely petrified, but she still like picked up that sword. It's just the Crown Court. By the time she got there, you were making your way through the front door. I have little doubt, as part of motivation of this brutal attack was to stop her from shouting for the police. Riley broke in at around 3 a.m. on the 21st of January 2020 by using a cobblestone to smash Mrs. Anastasia's window, the Evening Post reports. Just what a scuzzbag, man. Prosecutor James O'Connell said one could only imagine the terror that she must have gone through this lady's mind. Exactly, like alone in a house, 87 I think you said, and this 20-odd-year-old comes in. Man. She recalls the defendant shouting out and striking her in the head before dragging her and throwing her onto the bed face down. Oh my God, I bet she just had the worst thoughts going through her head. That was what was going to happen. He pulled her nightshirt over her head and leaving her naked, covering her mouth. Oh my God, causing the fear the victim was going to be raped. She put up what a fight she could, sliding down on the floor from the bed to avoid suffocation. I can't. Miss Anastasia tried to fight back by using a lamp, but Riley disarmed her. He pushed a pillow over her face while holding her to the bed. He repeatedly punched her. Among the items stolen was a pre-war Russian gold ring and bracelet, an earring Mrs. Anastasia's father gave her on her wedding day. The total value of items stolen was £50,000. Miss Anastasia said, "I thought I was going to die. I was in pain and total shock and was actually very concerned for my life." He began to shout, "Money, money," and I screamed for help, but his angered him more. He picked up one pillow and began to suffocate me in bed. She added, "I would like the person who did this to me to go to prison for a very long time." I don't blame you, girl, as I don't want him to do this to anyone else. Oh, see, she's like automatically thinking of other people. God love her. Riley, who was caught on camera fleeing her home, attended a pre-planned probation appointment for an old sentencing 11 days later and was arrested. Now, in the UK, the probation, they have so much more clout than even the coppers do. They can literally, like, recall you back to jail. They can do what the heck they like. So it's quite, like... Teenagers who tortured and murdered a vulnerable woman granted lifetime anonymity. Now, I don't know how I feel about this one, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the person that they murdered. I get that they were teenagers. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but let's get on with it. Two teenage killers who tortured and murdered vulnerable alcoholic in her own home have won a high court bid to keep their identities a secret for life. The girls, who were just 13 and 14 when they put 39-year-old Angela Wrightson through a horrific 5-hour ordeal at her Hartlepool home while posing for Snapchat selfies. They were handed a life sentence at Leeds Crown Court in 2016 and told they must serve a minimum of 15 years behind bars. Okay. At the end of the trial, Judge Globe refused a life reporting restriction preventing the media from identifying the killers due to their age and vulnerability. Their anonymity automatically expires when they turn 18, leading their lawyers to ask for the High Court judge in October last year to grant a lifetime anonymity. In the ruling published on Thursday, Mr. Judge Tipples, what a name, granted the pair known as D and F permanent injunctions, preventing them from being identified in relation to these murders. Miss Wrightson suffered a horrific, prolonged attack at her home in Stephen Street, Hartlepool in December 2014. She was hit with a shovel, a TV, a coffee table, a stick studded with screws after she let the girls into her home. The victim, as well known as Alcoange, I love her, was let school children drink in her living room. Miss Wrightson, who was 5'4", weighed 6.5 stone, she was tiny, was found dead in a blood-spattered living room the next day. A selfie posted on Snapchat showed the defendant smiling with Miss Wright's picture in the background shortly before her death. After the attack, the girls even boasted to friends about giving a lift home by police and were unaware of the murder. In the judgment, the case was granted anonymity. The judge said, "I'm quite satisfied that this case where there is real immediate risk of serious physical harm or death to F at her own hands." So, okay, I get what they're saying here, but then they did it at 13 and 14. Like, I don't care. You know right from wrong. You know right from wrong. This is an exceptional case where it's necessary to grant F the injunction sought in order to prevent her from being identified in connection with the murder of Angela Wrightson. She said the judge said the other girl was also entitled to an injunction banning the identity of one of the killers, noting that expert psychology evidence have shown that her identity was revealed, she would be in significant risk of self-harm. The judge notes it's clear that it is ongoing media interest in the case if the girl's identity was to be revealed. It is inevitable that this will attract very significant media coverage locally and nationally. At October hearing, Edward Fitzgerald, QC, told Justice Tipples, that name just makes me giggle, and the girls who suffered recognized mental condition, added that they're extremely psychologically vulnerable. Are they though? Are they? There are also concerns of lifting anonymity would create a very significant risk of harm from a third party, he said. Mr. Fitzgerald argued their claimants live in fear that their names are disclosed. They will be attacked at their efforts, their mental health, and threatens their rehabilitation, and indeed promotes the risk of self-harm or even suicide. That's the High Court in London. Now, I understand there were 13 and 14 when this crime happened. I get they were children, but even at 13 and 14, you know right from wrong. You know that you're not allowed to just go into some rando's house and kill them and post pictures on Snapchat. You know that's wrong. I'd like to know, what exactly mental conditions they have. Is it something that would warrant this or make excuses for this? I just can't see it. But again, I don't know how I feel about this. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Thanks for watching. I know this one was a bit of a trigger and so sad, but these ScuzBag's need to be put out as well, and their faces need to put out. I hope all the people that were injured healing and mentally and physically. And again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified for my next upload. Thanks guys. Bye.